There's so many. Has anyone been to them all?
Not likely.
I want to be the first one to see them all.
Truly wonderful the mind of a child is.
Come on.
When you find people who need your help, you help them. No matter what.
Good luck.
We have hope. Hope that things can get better. And they will.
Stand up together. Because that's when we're strongest. As one.
You won't be going alone. You'll have a friend with you.
No. I'll have a Jedi with me.
You might wanna buckle up, baby.
Rise
in the Force.
Take care of us, little one.
It'll take care of you. We had each other. That's how we won.
The Force is strong in my family.
Its energy surrounds us and binds us.
What is it they've sent us?
Hope.
Hello there. Greetings and salutations. Welcome to our Star Wars Day celebration right here at Nerd Culture Channel. Boy, oh boy, is this going to be one heck of a ride. Because you know what they say, this is where the fun begins. I am your host, Ryan of Nerd Culture, and I am certainly not alone in the celebration of all things Star Wars. Please start things off. Apparently he's renamed himself to Tim Solo. What's up, Tim? How you doing?
Pretty good. This is the one with the green puppet named Spock that travels the galaxy through a Stargate, right?
No, I think I believe you're thinking of a completely different fandom.
Oh, actually, two different ones.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're probably thinking of way too many things there. But Tim Solo, thank you so much for being with us. Also joining us here for Star Wars Celebration is Willow Schuyler, all the way from the galaxy of Canada. What's up, Willow?
Hey, not bad. How are you?
Doing well. Everything's perfectly fine. We're all fine here. No, thank you. How are you? We're sending the squad in. Anyway, no, they're not going to send the squad in. You know why? Because JL Gribble's going to come to save our keisters. What's up, JL?
Hey.
That's all we get. Okay, great, wonderful. Well, that's really that was a long, boring conversation anyway. Look, we're going to have company. We do have company. Her name is Adina from the Big Sci-Fi Podcast. What's up, Adina?
Help me, Ryan Kenobi. You're my only hope.
Hey, I'm wearing the shirt that goes with that line. That's even better. Thank you so much for being here, Adina. It is
and
great.
I'm here with Grogu. I'm here with
Grogu. It's the plushie. I want one. No. Anyway, another scruffy-looking Nerf herder just walked in. What's up, Austin?
It's a trap.
That's right. It is. It is. This whole show is
the whole show's a trap. Yeah.
The whole thing is a trap because I made the mistake of bringing in 7 different people.
The shields will be quite operational when your stream begins, Ryan.
That's very true. That's very true. You know what? Oh, we got enemy ships coming to Sector 27. Never mind. It's not a trap. It's the new one. It's Kale.
Hello.
What's up, Kale? How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great. How are you guys today? May the 4th be with you all.
Yes.
That's what I'm talking about. Now, if you have any thoughts or feelings about this cinematic or whatever it is universe, this galaxy known as the one that's far, far away, whether it's the movies, the TV series, the books, the comics, the video games, it doesn't matter. If you still collect Barbie dolls that look like Han Solo, like Willow's showing off right now, that is great. Put it in the chat. Put it in the comments. We want to hear from you. That is what we are here for. We're here to celebrate all the great things about Star Wars and all that kind of jazz. So some people have already walked into the chat. Brian Donahue is here with us. He says, I'm watching from Canton, Ohio. Go, Adina, repping the Big Sci-Fi Podcast. Oh, and science stuff, too. Yeah.
Thank you, Brian.
Yeah, it's science stuff. And Raymond Gershon, hello from Atlanta, Georgia. What's up, Raymond? How you doing? Hope everything's well with you in your neck of the woods. And Matthew Kearns, our good friend Kearns, says, live long and prosper. Wait, that's not right. No, it's not.
Nanu. All right, anyway.
No, that's not right. That's not right. And then Dawn Doulis says, I made it. I'm here. Dawn, we're happy that you're here. And thank you for being with us. And then Shop Dog Productions is in the building. Awesome. Canada, what part are you from, Willow? Is it Toronto? Is it Steve Williams country?
From the center of Canada itself. Winnipeg.
Woo! There you go. There you go. There you go. And by the way,
Or more like left of center, I guess.
left, center, left, back, right, left, or as the little one, the plushie would say, no, 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 yes, yes, yes. Shop Dog Production goes on to say, I still watch the theatrical versions on DVD. That's even better.
I don't have to do that anymore because I have this that I got unofficially somewhere, these despecialized Blu-rays.
Hey!
Hey, don't ask me where I got them because I won't tell you. Okay. Anyway.
No, we don't talk about that.
I definitely also own those.
Right. They're available. I just can't tell you where.
Yeah, otherwise, if you tell anyone where we find these things, we're going to be sent off to the spice mines of Kessel, smash into who knows what. So anyway, about that. So about Star Wars, I'm going to go around the horn here. We're going to ask our panelists a few questions and celebrate all things Star Wars. So please feel free to share anything and everything about it with us in the chat or the comments. If this is your first time here with us, welcome. Thank you for being here. And don't forget to like and share this with all of your rebel scum or Imperial officers. I don't know, whatever. Whichever fits your fancy. So the question for the round table, and I'm going to start because I'm a gentleman. Ladies first. How did you first experience Star Wars, Kale?
Oh, goodness. I think my dad introduced it to me a long, long time ago. And then my uncle was a collector of the novels. He's a truck driver, and he would send us lists of like all the ones that he didn't have. And he would be like, hey, if you're at Half Price Books, can you find this one? And we were chatting about this the other day. That's how I knew there were like hundreds of the Star Wars novels that were actually books. And he would be like, I need this one. I need this one. And I remember they would just be like, so much. And I'd be like, oh, there's, however many movies, but like these novels, it would just be shelves and shelves of all these stories of Star Wars. And I was like, wow, this universe is so vast and just epic and amazing. So yeah, I think that was the first time that I was kind of introduced to it. And of course, being a kid and just kind of naturally being introduced to the movies.
Awesome. All you gotta do is take a look. It's in a book. Anyway, that's a Reading Rainbow tune. JL, what about you? How did you first experience Star Wars?
I was in New Jersey. I was living in New Jersey at the time, so it must have been 4th or 5th grade. I guess one of my parents borrowed the original trilogy on VHS from somebody, and we watched the episode 4 on a Friday night, and I woke up like super early on Saturday because I just had to be like, oh my God, I just 2 more of these. I need to know what happens next. And then my grandmother worked at a paperback exchange, like a used bookstore. And so that's where I also knew there were a ton of books about this. And so I also read a lot of the books that came out in the 90s.
Ooh, wow. Everyone seems to be taking a look and in a book. I wonder what Adina's answer to this is. Adina, how did you first experience Star Wars? And please tell me it wasn't in a book.
No, it actually wasn't. It wasn't. And I kind of feel like I might be the oldest one in the group here. So I didn't see it in the theater, at least not the first movie, not episode 4, but it was about 1980. And it was on Showtime almost every day. And we had cable. So we had like the 5 channels on TV, and then we had like the 3 more on cable. And yeah, I watched it like every day with my little brother. I was about 6 years old at the time, and we got the toys. And I was still a little too young to see Empire when that came out in the theaters, but I did see Return of the Jedi when that opened in theaters. I was 8 or 9. So that was my first experience, and I fell in love with the robots. Was in particular R2-D2 is on my shirt right here. Was my first absolute first love, and kind of defined like my own journey into computers and robotics and just life afterwards. That's it. Yeah.
It's very deep. Thank you for sharing that with us. I don't mean that in a negative way in any way, shape, or form. But thank you for sharing that with us. Do appreciate it. What about you, Willow? How did you first experience Star Wars?
Oh, man.
Nice background, by the way. I thought I was the only one who had a cool background.
Thank you. Just decided to move into Mos Eisley Katina for the evening. So
think I was introduced to the whole Star Wars universe by the cool toys, getting lightsabers as a kid, the dolls and figurines or whatnot. I feel like it was always something part of my life. I know my uncle used to watch the Star Wars movies all the time, and so just always been there.
Wow, amazing stuff. That's cool. That's cool. Thank you for sharing that with us. And what about you, Tim Solo? How did you first experience the galaxy far, far away?
Back in 1966. Let me tell you about a ship called the Enterprise. No, I'm just kidding. Probably when I was a kid, like I never knew really anything too much about it. My mom was showing me movies I really shouldn't have been watching when I was a child, like Blazing Saddles and stuff like that. I really found it on reruns, like on TBS back in the day, because they would always show the reruns of, as we would call them, episode 4, 5, and 6, the original 3. And I caught New Hope like halfway through, and I was just a little kid sitting in front of the TV watching it, just enthralled. And I would rewatch it every time it would play, and especially when they had all 3 movies just played back to back to back the whole day. I'd just be enthralled with them. Then of course, when we got to the late 90s with the Phantom Menace, I went to go see that in theaters, and Attack of the Clones, then Revenge of the Sith, to close out the original trilogy, and just been watching ever since, really. But I was a kid watching it on reruns, and it just blows your mind when you love like sci-fi stuff. So it really just took me from the beginning as a kid.
Rock on, man. Rock on. And by the way, Matthew Kearns does have a question for us in the chat, but we will get to that momentarily. Kearns, I will pose that question momentarily, so stick around. Austin, what about you? How were you first introduced to Star Wars?
Yeah, definitely as a kid. My parents bought me the VHS set. So I didn't have this particular set, but I had the particular video. So this is the one I found at a thrift store years ago.
I got that too.
Yeah. No, this is a great set. But I did have these particular video cassettes, the sort of the matching ones, that go from one to the other with the pictures on the front, the ones with the Leonard Maltin intros. But yeah, my parents got me that. It had to be, sometime early 90s. I just remember watching them over and over and over again. And just, if I watched one, I just had to watch the other 2 within the next couple of days. And what I used to do is I used to do a play along. I had the bucket Lego set with kind of the medium sized Legos. And I would, during the movie, as episode 4 would be playing, I would put together X-Wings, my own little X-Wings out of them, so that when we got to the Death Star battle, the Battle of Yavin, as each of the rebels would go down in their X-Wings, I would smash them into the floor one by one as they all got destroyed. So Porkins goes down, smash it. Red Leader goes down, I smash one, and that was always fun. And then I would rewind it and do it all over again. So those are kind of my earliest memories of Star Wars, being obsessed with it as a kid, and then finally getting to see them in theaters when they did the 97 re-releases of the special editions. So those are kind of my earliest memories. But yeah, pretty much being obsessed with them ever since my parents got me that VHS set.
Very nice, very nice. So for me, my first experience with Star Wars was the VHS tapes that my brothers, my dad, I think it was my family that introduced me to Star Wars. Whether it was my dad or my brothers, I can't remember exactly who it was specifically, but I'll just say family because I don't want to forget anyone. So my family introduced me to it on VHS. I remember watching it, really enjoying it. And then I remember in 1997 going to see the special editions when they re-released the films. And my dad took all of it. I remember this vividly. I remember being at my friend's house, and we were playing outside. And my dad pulls up in his car and he says, "Hey, Ryan, you better get home. You better get home. Like we're going to be leaving soon." I said, "Why? What's going on?" And he says, he does the really, cliche impression. "Luke, I am your father," even though that's not even how the line goes. But he said it. And I'm like, "Oh my God, we're going to see Star Wars." So I hightailed it back home, jump into the car. We drove out to the Senator Theater, which is in Baltimore, Maryland, a very historic movie house. The Senator Theater is one of the most historic places ever. So we went in there, we plopped ourselves down, THX logo comes up, fanfare plays, and it goes, and we were just enthralled. We just loved every minute of it. So Thank my late father for taking us to see all those Star Wars movies. Thanks, Dad. Love you. I miss you. So with that being said, I do want to take a moment and say thank you for everyone being here in the chat. Don't forget to like and share this with all of your closest friends. If you have any feelings about Star Wars, throw them in the chat, throw them in the comments, whether you're watching this live or on the replay. And let's see here. Some people are chiming in here. Shop Dog Productions says Steve Williams did the 97 CG animation for Jabba the Hutt. Oh, okay. I was not aware of that. And then Don Duelist says, first time here on May the 4th. You mean first time watching our content on this channel, Don? Because if that's the case, welcome. It only took you X amount of years. But that's okay. Better late than never. Derpy Entertainment says cat content from earlier. Woo! Beautiful kitty cat, Kale. Beautiful kitty cat. By the way, Derpy Entertainment says also Kale's shirt is freaking awesome.
Thank you.
There you go. You're getting all kinds of props here. You're getting all kinds of props.
This is Casper, by the way, taking a bath on screen.
Is that what Casper is doing? Is that the friendly ghost or the friendly cat?
He's very friendly.
Casper, friendly ghost. Anyway, I remember the song from the end of that movie with Christina Ricci and Bill Pullman. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. So for the round table, if you will, what would you say are some of your favorite things about Star Wars, Tim? What do you think?
Let's see. Probably just the tale of a farm boy from Tatooine. Just a simple tale of coming from nothing, losing everything, and yeah, he kind of still lost everything because he ended up burning his dad after he saved him. But I mean, Star Wars always had that good story narrative with the movies of enthralling you with the characters. They've always really been character driven pieces, other like from different medias, like with Star Trek, more of the science and the utopia version. But with Star Wars, it's always been the characters, the adventure, galaxy far, far away. It's always been that for me as a boy. If you hook me with a good story, I'll stay with it, and that's usually all it takes for me. Is hook me with a good story, make it compelling, make me care, make me want to keep continuing to follow the story, and I'll be there for all of them. I was there for, like I said, watching the first three so many times. If I had VHSs of them, they'd probably be gone. They'd just be disintegrated for how many times I'd watch them, and for how much money I spent on the I guess my generation 3 movies that came out in theaters. But yeah, I'd say that was for me what I always loved about it, was just the story, the adventure, and watching Han shoot first, because God, do I enjoy that scene every time I see it.
Yes, that's very good stuff. Thank you for sharing that with us. I almost forgot. And I was going to say, when Greedo points the gun at him, yes, Greedo, I was just going to see your boss. Just tell Jabba I got his money. But anyway, Austin, what about you? What are some of the things that you like most about Star Wars, Austin?
It's interesting when you go looking at it from an adult perspective, but I think from a kid perspective, seeing it for the first time, is that you're launched into this world and this mythology without a lot of backstory, and it's sort of, you have to create everything in your head watching it. I mean, literally you're launched into the first film right away with the ships going overhead, and then they start talking back and forth about empires and these democracies and diplomatic missions, and you're just kind of thrown right into this world. And because it's set in a galaxy, a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, it's kind of this timeless piece of adventure that has aged beautifully, because we don't know what time it is there. Like, it's just off in some other world. And as a kid, and watching these movies, you had to kind of create these backstories kind of out of thin air. I know that books and comic books and everything came afterwards to kind of flesh out some of these people. But when you saw cool things, like you saw the bounty hunter lineup in Empire, and you just saw like these cool characters and didn't know where they came from, or you go into the Mos Eisley Cantina and you see werewolves and these like slug monsters, and you see everything, and you just kind of wonder where they came from. And it gave you a sense that in this world, anything was possible. People understood other languages. There were lasers. There were, there was just space travel, at light speed. And it was just this sense of adventure that had never been seen before that I was enraptured with from a kid all the way till now. So I think it was just that sense of wonder that is kind of captured generation after generation.
Yeah, that binary sunset scene gets me every time. Kale, what are some of the things you like about Star Wars?
So, Austin, I actually really love your shirt because Admiral Akbar was one of the characters that always fascinated me in my imagination, that, these kind of like wild and creative, like science fiction characters could be real and imaginative. But I really love that after Disney took over, that they've kind of continued to create this generation of whimsy and fantasy. Like when Last Jedi came out and they brought out the Vulpuses. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this, the creatures that were in the ice sea in the mountains. They were like the crystalline foxes. So like, that's what I just love, that like generation after generation, like you said, they continue to create whimsy and fantasy of like anything's possible, anything's real. Space is beyond our control and like grasp, but like, there's like all of these worlds on other planets. And so I think that's just part of the magic that exists in this kind of fandom and world that is Star Wars.
Very, very, very impressive. Most impressive. Dina, what are some of the things you like most about Star Wars, other than the fact that you can't take your hands off that plushie?
Well, he's my baby, one of my babies. So, and wants to be involved. Yes.
I see what you did there.
Yeah, so I'm very attracted to the original trilogy, of course, and it's because everything that came after it is built on that. And I love what Austin said a few minutes ago about how it's held up so well. And I think I want to add to that is it's complex yet simple, so all ages can enjoy it. You don't need much to get into it. They have this complex universe. There's a lot of detail behind the scenes, but what you see when you first come in, you first watch episode 4, you first watch A New Hope, and anyone who ever gets into the series, even into Star Wars now, I always recommend to watch it in the order in which it was released. Watch it in the order that we had to watch it, because it makes the most sense in terms of building, world building, like from there. And that's exactly it, is you can really kind of sink into it just based on that first movie. And then you get to the second movie and there's this new planet, this Hoth, this like, the frozen world. And then you get to Cloud City, and they just kept adding bits and pieces as they go on. So I really attracted to the first movie. I could watch the first movie every day, and it's been 40 years, and I'm not 40 something years, and I'm not sick of it yet. Neither is Grogu.
Yeah, neither is Grogu. He's only 50 years old, apparently, as we found out earlier in the show.
Wait, you're older than me?
Yeah.
Good, someone around here is.
I mean, that's what they said in the last episode. We seem to be made to suffer. It's our lot in life. But not for JL. JL isn't suffering anytime soon. JL, what are the things you like most about Star Wars?
So, I grew up in primarily a Star Trek household, but I was reading fantasy novels. And so I think when I first saw Star Wars and the whole like just science fantasy appealed to me. And then as I got older, I
Oh no.
Ensemble cast on some sort of space thing, and then they, go off and tell adventures. But Star Wars has so much more different storytelling that has just grown in so many different directions. And so then today you have, people are like, oh, there's too much Star Wars out, right now. I can't keep up with everything. But it's because every Star Wars show that's out right now could almost be for a different audience. But the fact that it's still the same story in the same universe is really compelling to me.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I can totally agree with that. What about you in the Mos Eisley Cantina that I wish I were in right now? Willow, what are some of the things you like most about Star Wars? And you're muted, by the way. Yeah, you took a commercial break. Unmute yourself. There you are.
Sorry. I think it's the strong female characters that brings me to Star Wars, more so because that is something that we other franchises really kind of ignored, but Star Trek, as you said, and Star Wars both had really strong female characters, and it's just something that continued on with each series that keeps coming out and bringing more and more of us females into the fold, and it's just something that we as fans can come together and show that, hey, look, females can collect the toys, females can love the series, females can play all these games and know about each character. And yeah, so Princess Leia was the first of many strong female characters to come out for sci-fi.
I don't know where you get your delusions, laser brain. Laugh it up, fuzzball. But anyway, and once again, Kearns, I'm going to get to your question, I promise. So for me, some of the things I'm discovering a little bit more so nowadays about Star Wars is that, well, one of the things I like about Star Wars is the action. Whether it's the lightsaber duels, outer space battles, the land battles, it doesn't matter. I played Battlefront 1 and 2 for the original Xbox way back when, which was so much fun. And who wouldn't want to put on a slick-looking tunic, take a laser sword, and just slice and dice people, especially if ones who are saying that they have the Desitines on 12 systems? I'll be careful. You'll be dead, and then you could just slice his arm off, I mean, that's the way you should settle conflicts, right? Just do it in the cantina. No one's going to bat an eye. No, I'm kidding. That's not the way things should be solved. But that stuff really intrigued me. But the thing I'm really liking about now is that, and this is something that I'm starting to learn when I'm reading the Star Wars novels, the motivations behind characters' actions, why they're doing what they are doing, how they came to a certain realization about things that are going on around them and how they feel about it, how they think about it. They say actions speak louder than words, which is true. But when you have these inner monologues, especially in the novels, when these characters are deep in thought or they're just going through the motions, that stuff is really intriguing to me. The motivations behind the characters, why they're doing what they're doing, how did they get from point A to point B, if that makes any sense. So those are some of the things that stand out to me, or some of the things that I like about Star Wars. Plus the costumes are the costumes are freaking awesome, and the visuals of the planets and the environments are sick. They are sick, especially Mandalorian. They got a bigger budget. But I will say, some people are chiming in the chat, and I'm loving what you guys are saying. So let's take a moment and acknowledge those. So let's see here. Shopdog Production says, my 1996 VHS were brought for me while I had the flu at the time. I saw Star Wars 77 at the age of 6. There you go. There you go. Kern says, I first experienced Star Wars when I watched Episode 1, The Phantom Menace on VHS when it originally came out. Okay, good stuff. I'm digging it. Dawn says, I think this is the first time I'm attending, but just learned about you. Yeah, blame the show known as Stupid O'Clock that sometimes she and I guest star on. And then Dawn Dula says, Star Wars Legos? What? Ha 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 ha. Is this real? Yes, it is. There are very much so. There's a lot of Star Wars Legos. Don't ask me because I don't have any. Let's see here. Dawn says, I was born between the ages of, between episodes originally 4 and 5, so I do not remember not having Star Wars in my life, and my first copies were in fact VHS. But I can't legally say how we got them. Yeah, just like Austin was saying earlier, don't ask where you got it, okay? Just don't. Dawn says, let's just say the TV ads from 1982-ish are fun to watch now. So yeah, that's what she's getting at. Listen, Dawn, age is just a number, okay? And I keep telling this to Adina, but she doesn't believe me. But it's true. Just let it go, all right? Seriously. But anyway, Kearns has a question for us, so I want to bring this up to the panel now that we've all had a chance to go around the table for the first 2 questions that I had. Kearns says, I'll get this question out of the way now. Favorite lightsaber duel, and that isn't limited to just the movies. It could be from the television series, it could be something that was featured in the comics, or even the video games, etc., 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 which is from The King and I. So with that being said, Adina, favorite lightsaber duel?
So, I feel like you guys are going to get sick of me saying how much I love like the original 3 movies and everything, but I think I have to go with the first battle between Obi-Wan and Darth Vader, just because it was like the most impactful, the most emotional. You didn't know what, the first time you see it, you don't know what Obi-Wan is about to do. And I think that's, to me, always nothing is gonna hit that emotional high the way that one did. Or emotional impact, not high, not good emotion, just impactful emotion. So I think that first one takes the cake for me. Yeah.
The circle was now complete. When I left you, I was but the learner. Now I am the master. So yeah, that goes deep, guys.
Yes.
That goes deep.
Yes.
And
it's not just about the swoosh, 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 swoosh. It's about that stuff.
That stuff, the thing,
yeah.
the thingamajig. But anyhow, I do want to take a moment and say we are celebrating everything Star Wars, so let us know your thoughts about it in the comments or the chat. Whether you're watching this live or on the replay, thank you so much for being here. Don't forget to like and share this with all of your closest friends. The question that is on the table for the panel at this time is, what is your favorite lightsaber duel that has been featured in any medium of Star Wars? So I ask, Kale, what's your favorite lightsaber duel?
Battle of Genesis.
You mean Geonosis?
Geonosis, whatever.
Hey,
but yeah.
Get it right. Star Wars.
Clone Wars, I mean, you've got Hayden, you've got Ewan, you've got Samuel L. Jackson. I mean, you've got
Portman.
Yeah, Natalie Portman. I mean, you've got over 200 Jedis just fighting all of these clone robots. It's so much action. It's just one of my favorites.
All right, that's fair. I can understand why. That is a heck of a duel. I'm not gonna lie. Well, not duel, but it is a battle. Let's just put it that way. It's a battle.
It's the biggest battle in Star Wars history. I mean, there's 83% death rate of the 212 Jedis that fought in that battle. 179 fell.
That's unfortunate.
High
By the way,
casualty rate.
just out of curiosity, as Amidala was saying that this is aggressive negotiations during the port of that scene, was she sporting a six-pack? Did she have six-pack abs during that scene? I'm just curious. I don't know if anyone knows.
She's pretty badass female.
All right, that's fair if you want to go that direction, but I digress. Willow, dare I ask what your favorite lightsaber duel is? And remember, you're muted.
All right. Okay, so I know there's a lot of hatred for the prequels, but come on, Darth Maul. He's a pretty big badass. I have to admit, I enjoyed his lightsaber battle.
I mean, a Duel of the Fates playing in the background by John Williams, no slouch either. You know, no slouch.
Well, my husband's watching Star Wars, so I apologize, but yet at the same time, I don't, because it is Star Wars Day.
Yeah, I know. Why the heck not? Keep watching the movies and the TV series, and have a few drinks, why don't you? Just as long as it's not blue milk. JL, what is your favorite lightsaber duel from Star Wars, JL?
That's both an easy and a slightly more deep answer. The easy one is the dark in it? Then the answer is yes. But in terms of actual like combat with lightsabers, I don't know if anybody else remembers these, but one of the book series before even the prequels came out was the series called Young Jedi Knights, and it starred the teenage kids of Han and Leia before Kylo Ren was a speck in anybody's eye, and they did an entire book centered around how these two teenagers and two of their friends basically got the components for and built their lightsabers, and what the lightsabers meant to them as Jedi and how it affected them. And for some reason, it's just this, pop culture media tie-in sci-fi novel, but that book has stuck with me since I was in junior high.
Interesting. I'm gonna have to look this up at some point. Austin, what about you? What is your favorite lightsaber duel from Star Wars?
So it's not the flashiest, it's not the most well choreographed, but I love the emotions and the dialogue of the Vader-Luke fight at the end of Return of the Jedi, because of just everything that's been built up to it, the stuff leading up to it with Luke trying to persuade Vader to come back to the light. You've got the Emperor off to the side making his little comments, him laughing. Good. Yeah, I love all that stuff. When Luke finally loses it on Vader and just swinging wildly, letting his rage kind of come out. Your hate has made you strong. All that stuff. Like, there's so much going on back and forth. A lot, Vader goading him with the sister stuff. Just everything from the original trilogy that has kind of come to a fever pitch in that scene for me. So it's not so much about the most well choreographed, swordsmanship of everything, or it's not the flashiest, but I love for what it's doing for the series, the way it's kind of wrapping things up, the emotion of the scene is just what gets me every time. So yeah, not it's not as flashy as the Darth Maul stuff. I get it. But I think for me, just the emotion of it works really well. And I've always gone back and claimed that one as my favorite.
That is certainly a good one. What about you, Tim? What's your favorite lightsaber duel?
Well, Austin, I hate your guts now. I used to like you. I had a lot of respect for you in the Power Rangers 30th anniversary special, but you had to pull Matt Kearns and steal my answer. So let's go with I love when Kirk fought the lizard in Star Trek. No, I have to agree with Austin on that. Out of all the generations that we've seen with the prequel trilogy, with the Jedi kind of at their heights of fighting styles to the more intimate styles in 4, 5, and 6 with just the intimate battles with Obi-Wan, Vader, and of course Luke and Vader the first time and the second time, and then whatever you want to call the future. Anyways, I would have to. I have very mixed thoughts with the sequel trilogy, but anyways, with the Vader and Vader and Luke fight 2, you do have that final progression of Luke coming to the end of his journey, but also seeing what this did to his father, understanding. I think really how Vader was corrupted through it and through the fight, and able to throw his lightsaber down right at the end when he could have easily just killed Vader and then focused on the Emperor, but he threw it down and said, "No, you failed, Your Highness. I'm a Jedi like my father before me." And just seeing that brings you the redemption of Vader in a way to sacrifice everything to save his son instead of trying to overthrow his master and become the new lord of the galaxy. So I really think that one really ties up everything just in just a nice bow at the end of it for the Return of the Jedi.
Wow. We're getting some deep thoughts here. But I'm digging it. I'm digging every single minute of it. Do not get me wrong. And we'll get to your thoughts about this in just a moment here. But for me, favorite lightsaber, it may or may not shock some people because all your points are so good about each and every single individual lightsaber battle, Geonosis, or duel, however you want to go about it. But for me, I said this earlier, actions speak louder than words. No one's talking during the battle between Darth Maul, Qui-Gon Jinn, and Obi-Wan Kenobi. There is no dialogue. They are strictly they are going at it. It is good versus evil, one side versus the other, and it's a handicap match. It's 2-on-1 handicap match. We have never seen that in the history of Star Wars up to that point. And Darth Maul, we had no idea who this guy was, but if you want something that exemplifies the dark side, a guy with red and black face paint and 10 horns on his head and looks like the devil, that is going to do it. That is going to do it.
Beautifully choreographed.
I mean, it's a
Mainly
dance
thanks
for sure.
to Park and his talent of doing flips and
he's very good at that, by the way.
Fighting with dual sabers is just fantastic.
Yeah, and someone told me about this earlier this week that as soon as, and I remember seeing it in the theaters, but my memory's a bit spotty on it. When the dual lightsaber lit up, everyone in the theater lost their collective minds because we'd never seen anything like that up to that point. So for me, my favorite lightsaber duel is Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan versus Darth Maul because to me, it's one of the best examples of good versus evil. And when you have Duel of the Fates playing in the background by our good friend John Williams, I mean, you can never go wrong. You just can't. You just can't. And someone wrote a fun fact about that lightsaber duel. The fun fact about it is some dude named Dave Filoni, I don't know if anyone's ever heard of him. He's kind of running the ship of Star Wars right now. But he said that when that duel was first put together and the Duel of the Fates is playing, it's specifically referring to the fate of the entire franchise. Because if Qui-Gon had survived and he ended up training Anakin, then Anakin never would have turned to the dark side to become Darth Vader and do all this other stuff. Hey, Anakin, you still murdered hundreds of kids, okay? I'm not letting that go. You understand me? I'm not letting that go. But the fact that Dave Filoni said that this is how intricate Star Wars can be when you think about it deep down, you know what I mean? So special meaning for that lightsaber duel, which is fantastic stuff. And Qui-Gon is hashtag like a boss. So no shame. But that's my favorite lightsaber duel.
And
now, as far
Brian, I do have to mention the fight of episode 3 of the prequels with Yoda.
Oh,
that's episode 2.
That was a good fight too.
You mean episode 2 when he's going up against Count Dooku?
Sorry,
or
yes. Wow.
Palpatine.
I will get that for my husband later, I'm sure.
So no one mentioned the first Darth Vader Luke one in Empire Strikes Back.
That's my second favorite, just because again there's a different dynamic to that with Luke losing that fight and being a little overconfident without having had much training and getting humbled. Like literally, he gets humbled to the point where he gets his own hand cut off. So I mean, I love the emotion of that too. Because again, is it the greatest choreographed one? No, but
but it's emotional, right?
To me, I relate it to wrestling. Okay, so there's current wrestling where a lot of it is more about gymnastics and what kind of cool moves we can do and the choreographed stuff we can do. I'm more of an old school fan of wrestling where I appreciate more of a story being told, where every move matters, the story that they're telling, the emotions that they're conveying to the crowd. And to me, that's why I gravitate more towards the original trilogy battles, because there's more of a story to them rather than being flashy moves. So
I'm 100%.
I appreciate and I will watch the Darth Maul fight any day. I will watch the Mustafar Anakin Obi-Wan fight any day.
I have the high ground.
All that stuff is great, but like the ones I keep going back to get the meaning out of them, to where every line of dialogue matters, every move matters. So, like the emotions, the little things, that matter in those fights to me it's like wrestling. I'm more of an old school guy just in that aspect as well.
Yeah, not the wrestling, but old school.
Both
Star Wars
or both. No,
Adina's like, what's wrestling? I never heard of that.
Yeah,
I've heard of wrestling.
You've heard of Hulk Hogan, right?
I have.
Okay.
That's not a good wrestling, but
I'm more of a Ric Flair guy. Ric Flair wrestling.
Again, I'm a child of the '80s, so yeah.
Okay, I was just making sure you knew who Hulk Hogan was and the Macho Man
Adina,
was,
you
and
and I
Roddy
are probably-
Piper.
all you have to do is know one name. Dusty Rhodes. That's all
Dusty
you gotta
Rhodes.
know, baby.
Or Dusty Rhodes. Or what's the other one, Austin? Bret the Hitman Hart. He tells a story with his matches, doesn't he?
Yeah. It's just I'm more of like, if I have to choose between watching a great Ric Flair Ricky Steamboat match or watching like Will Ospreay and Ricochet, I only wrestling fans are gonna get that. I choose Ric Flair Ricky Steamboat. I'm just saying. So I know non-wrestling fans are gonna have no idea what the hell I'm talking about, but if you know, you know. I'm just saying.
And by the way, Kale, you can't see me. What are you playing, peekaboo? You can't see me. Anyway, we all can see you. You look like a ball of fruity pebbles. Anyway, that's a wrestling that is going to go way over Adina's head. So we're not even. We're not going to.
Boy John Cena into the shrine.
I'm sorry. I apologize. I want to keep the focus on Star Wars because we are celebrating all things Star Wars. For those of you tuning in and trying to figure out what the bantha fodder is going on, if you have any thoughts about Star Wars, let us know in the comments. Let us know in the chat. We would love to hear your stories about how you first experienced Star Wars. What are your favorite things about it? Whether it's your favorite lightsaber duel, maybe a favorite character moment, maybe a favorite comic, whatever it may be. Whether this is live or on the replay, thank you for being here. Don't forget to like and share this with all of your closest friends because we're all friends here. We're all fine here. Now, thank you. How are you? Anyway, Dawn says, Ryan, my life is completely immersed in what is known as Star Wars Legos. Laughing out loud. Okay.
So you have no money then, because those are expensive.
Yeah, I was going to say, Dawn, do you have any money left
they are.
from the spice mines of Kessel? Did you make any money off the spice mines that someone worked for you? I don't know. Dawn says, Adina, I am partial to the original trilogy. My guess is you and I are kind of sort of close to the same age.
A little older.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Dawn says, I'm playing Star Wars in my background while I'm listening to you guys.
Well, as another Harrison Ford character would say, it's not the age, it's the mileage.
See what we did there for you, Adina? See what we did there? Yeah, we're trying to help you. Okay?
I feel like I'm very close in Adina's age.
Okay,
Really?
good. I'm not alone.
See, you're not alone in this. I'm just saying, you know. Who is this? The Crudge Badger says, all I'm saying is, when we're talking about lightsaber fights, especially if we're going with the prequels, can we talk about General Grievous versus Obi-Wan? Because that was so uncivilized. That was uncivilized. Man, that guy burned like a crisp. Gosh almighty, did that guy burn. Dawn says, wrestling? I know this one. Laugh out loud, she says. Yeah. And then Dawn says, I'm dominating the chat feature on this show. Hey, Dawn, if you want to keep adding stuff into the chat, go right ahead, because everything Star Wars related anyway is up for grabs. I just want to say that.
We love you, Dawn.
I know, seriously, she's really getting into the comment section here. I'm just saying. But with that being, excuse me. With that being said, so we talked about favorite lightsaber duels, but now I want to talk about some other stuff here. Let's play a game here, right? It's called favorites, because everyone likes to pick their favorite child, right, Adina? No, they don't. But we're gonna do it anyway. So let's do this. We've done favorite lightsaber duel. So favorite Star Wars character. Willow, what do you think? And I just took you off the stream.
He just booted me out of the studio.
I'm a complete idiot. But anyway, Willow, as I was saying, favorite Star Wars character now that you're back.
Oh, I didn't have time to think about this.
I know. This is why we call it improv.
You know, I think I'm going to go for Princess Leia full out because, Carrie Fisher is a fantastic actress and she owned that role. That was
into
her
the garbage,
baby.
Flyboy. Wait a minute, Willow, you came in that thing? You're braver than I thought. Adina, favorite Star Wars character that's not the plushie?
So I'm going to do the same thing I do on our podcast all the time, is I can't just pick one favorite for anything.
So basically, you're going to cheat.
Yes, a little bit. So favorite robot character, R2-D2 for sure. And favorite human character, also Princess Leia, absolutely 100%.
Scruffy looking.
So two favorites, sorry.
All right. You kind of cheated there, but we'll let it slide.
I did.
JL, favorite Star Wars character. What do you think?
So I never understood the crazy obsession that people had with Boba Fett for a really long time. And then I met a Mandalorian named Sabine Wren in Star Wars Rebels. And I've been like low-key obsessed with her ever since, even before the Darksaber showed up on that show and she carried it for a while. But just her combination of just, I'm like totally badass, but I'm also, still artsy and creative and just, and have passions for things. I'm so excited to see her being brought to live action in the new Ahsoka show. I think it's going to be amazing.
Well, it is true that Ahsoka Tano does live. Good stuff. Kale, favorite Star Wars character. What do you think?
Gosh.
And don't say Leia. She's already been taken twice.
I know. Probably Anakin, just because I am a sucker for like the tortured bad boys. And then like when Kylo Ren's story came out, I was really like torn by him as well. So yeah, I think probably them.
All right. I mean, Kale, you're still holding on. Let go. Let go of it. Let go of the past. Let the past die. Let it die, Kale. Let it die. Austin316 says, what's your favorite Star Wars character?
So I've always been a Han Solo guy. It might be a cliche.
Is that because he shot first?
Well, he shoots first and asks questions later. So no matter how many times Lucas wants to change episode 4, he still shoots first when he sees Darth Vader in Cloud City and pulls out his gun right away and starts blasting them. So that directly indicates the Greedo thing. But anyways, no, he's a scoundrel. He's a skeptic. The simple tricks and nonsense. Like he just doesn't buy into it. He just seems like a blue collar guy. But I'll tell you, low key second favorite when I was a kid, even though at the time he only had 15 minutes of screen time, Emperor Palpatine in Return of the Jedi, because every line he says just slaps. It's just so great. Just every single line, please, I can feel your anger. Strike me down with all of your hatred, and your journey towards the dark side will be
complete.
It's just every fucking line. Sorry to cuss, but it just is. Every line kills in that 15. Ian McDermott makes the most out of every single line in that movie, and it's great. So Han Solo, but low-key kind of Emperor Palpatine. So yeah.
Good. Tim, is your favorite character Han Solo because you renamed yourself Tim Solo?
No, it's actually I love the backstory with the war orphan Worf. Now Worf was born. Never mind, I'm not going.
What the heck is going on? Like Adina's scratching her head like, wait a minute, we talk about this every day, but I don't want to talk about it now. We're supposed to talk about Star Wars.
I'll talk about Star Trek if you want me to.
We can talk Next Generation if you want to, but not right now.
No, I'd have to go. I think Luke has always been my favorite ever since I got into it as a boy. I mean, I liked the power and the prowess of a young Anakin as really a gifted Jedi. I mean, granted, he was just consumed with fear and worry and what have you, like I think any normal boy would be that wasn't properly trained as a Jedi. I'm not saying Obi-Wan failed him. I'm just saying that he was always more just consumed with his fears, his thoughts, than a normal Jedi Padawan. But with Luke, I love that story of just going on that adventure and growing from just young farmhand helping his aunt and uncle to becoming his own force in the galaxy, his own presence, making his own way. And yes, following in his father's footsteps, but able to rise above that to not fall like his father did. So Luke was always my favorite. Mando was a close second when The Mandalorian came out, because I loved that faceless hero that anyone can assert themselves into it, because it's that faceless hero that's going in. Like the Wild West influence that it was. But Luke would be a first, Mando would be a second.
That's fair. So for me, it's hard because the more I've experienced Star Wars in terms of watching the shows, and now I'm starting to read the Star Wars novels, which, by the way, I've only read one of them so far, Master and Apprentice, written by Claudia Gray, about the relationship between Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan. Honest to God, it's one of the best books, period, I've ever read. It is so good. But anyway, for now, I'm going to say Luke, just because that's the one I grew up with the most. That's the one I know more about the most. I mean, I'm still experiencing some, reading about or discovering more about certain characters. Obviously, Mandalorian story isn't over yet, because there is going to be a season 4. Spoiler alert. So Mando and his friendly neighborhood Grogu plushie that Adina's holding, they're not going anywhere anytime soon. It's a fluffy. Anyway, so I'm going to go with Luke, but I'm going to pull in Adina on this one. I'm going to cheat, okay? I'm going to cheat because I'm the host. I'm the producer. I get to do what I want. So Luke's probably my favorite, but then a close second would either be Obi-Wan Kenobi or Mando, because Mando's like the Eastwood of Star Wars. He is the Clint Eastwood. He is just, I could bring you in hot or I could bring you in cold. It's your choice, son. It's your choice. He can lay the smack down on anyone's candy ass any day of the week, twice on Sunday. And plus, who doesn't? I mean, his outfit is freaking ridiculously good looking, and I want that Beskar armor in my house. So, the executives at Lucasfilm, if you're watching this, just send it to me airmail, okay? I'll take it. Anyway, that's what I got to say about that. So, good stuff here. So, with that being said, let's see. We've done duel, we've done character. Okay, how about this one? Favorite Star Wars quote in any medium of Star Wars. What do you think, Adina?
Did you say quote?
Quote could be from any piece of media featuring Star Wars. Doesn't have to be the movies.
Well, so I know the movies more than anything else. I've watched the recent shows, and I never got into the books. I think we talked about this. It was because when I went to read one, the whole book was filled with, oh, do you remember what we did when we last battled the Death Star? Oh, do you remember what we did when we last went to Cloud City? So I couldn't get into it. The one that I find myself repeating, or the two that I find myself repeating most often, is "Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're my only hope," and "These aren't the droids you're looking for." And that one actually happens in my day-to-day life more than you'd actually expect, in like I'm serious. I'm not joking. It's a real world application of that quote.
You don't need to see his identification. We don't need to see his identification.
No, you
anyway, don't. I'm just curious though. Kale, favorite Star Wars quote?
Oh my gosh, there's so many good ones, but I think one of my favorite things about Star Wars is, since the universe and fandom is so vast that it gets recreated and spoofed and like parodied a lot. So I think one of the ones that stands out probably is Family Guy's Blue Harvest episode. My favorite from that is when they're trying to do the maneuvers and he goes, what? This guy's just listing lazily to the left when he's in the TIE fighter. And he goes, oh, what? Where'd the guy go? He goes, oh man, this guy's got some maneuvers. And another one from that one is when they're in the Mos Eisley Cantina, the Cantina band goes, hey, does anybody have any requests? And he goes, play that same song again. And he goes, all right. Do, 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 do. So, like, that's just such a great spoofy episode that, like, brings the universe into a comedic atmosphere that it's just so great.
This is a story of Star Wars. Willa, what's your favorite line from Star Wars?
Oh man, you know, now that she brought up Blue Harvest.
Blue Harvest.
Oh
yeah.
man.
What about something Dark Side? That was fun too.
Well, you know, what Chris says to Lois when they're rescuing her is, well, you can sit here and starve, bitch.
Oh, God.
Sorry, I know we totally trash your show now, but you know.
Don't cross the streams, but you just did. But dare I ask if we can get rid of the laughter for a minute? JL, bring us back to Tatooine, where it's coarse, it's rough, it's irritating, and the Santa gets everywhere. What's your favorite Star Wars quote? And please don't tell me it's from Hayden Christensen.
No. Oh, no. Probably my favorite Star Wars quote is in Force Awakens, when Han says it's true, all of it, because that kind of like brings the new era kind of back to where it all started, and really like brings it home that yes, this is something new, and these weird movies that came out in like the late 90s, like that happened, but that doesn't need to be the you know, the only thing we've gotten. And I think that line out of Force Awakens just like reinforces how amazing Force Awakens was to watch as an adult and as a woman who, like, yeah, I love Leia. Everyone loved, like, every girl who loves Star Wars loves Leia, but like Rey was the character that I was looking for. And so that line from Han just like finally brought it home to me that like, oh yes, this is also for me and always has been. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, in the words of the line from a little indie film called Three Amigos with Chevy Chase, Steve Martin, and Martin Short, it's real. What? This is real. You mean? Yes. Anyway, before I go off on a weird tangent, Tim Solo, what's your favorite Star Wars quote?
Now all I can really think about is the Blue Harvest when Herbert and Stewie are fighting. And
I blame Kale for this.
I mean,
it's a Star Wars movie.
Here's the thing. You blame her for it. I thank her for it because every time I think about that scene, I laugh my ass off because then he turns over and sees Chris. He's like, well, osh, posh, my gosh. And his lightsaber goes back up. But... oh gosh! Oh, what have you done?
You gotta attack them. That's what you sound like all day long.
It's more than one line for me. It was before we got into midichlorians, which you know we can go into nitpicks later. Was in The Empire Strikes Back. Whenever Yoda is training Luke and he's talking about the Force, it surrounds us, it binds us, it's in between everything, in between you, me, that rock, that tree, it surrounds us. It just gave it the Force that mystical presence that it was. It didn't have to be scientifically explained or what have you. Didn't have to go into any more about it. Just watching those three movies, that was really all you need. And I love watching those lines over and over again.
Deep, very deep. What about Austin? Did you tell us what your favorite Star Wars quote was?
No, not yet.
All right, which one is it?
It's Empire. It might sound cliche, but it's the "I love you, I know" exchange, and because it speaks so much to the characters and their journey and where how far that Han and Leia have gone. Leia, you know, finally professing her love for this scoundrel, this scruffy-looking nerf herder. You know, she's been going back and forth, and it's just the line of Harrison Ford. Then when you find out that Harrison Ford improvised the "I know," that it was just going to be "I love you too" in the script, and he said no, like that's not what Han would say. Han's not a mushy gushy guy. He would just say "I know," and it says so much. And the performance of both of them in that scene, the way they their performance of their eyes and their facial expression, and it's just such true to the characters to that point, and it just is one of the most memorable kind of "I love you" exchanges in movie history. So I love it.
Yeah, fun fact, they were trying to figure out what to do with that scene, and then finally he came to the point where he's like, just let me say "I know," and they'll roll with it. And they did, and they kept it in the movie. They did. They ended up keeping that cut in the film respectively. So for me, I'm gonna pull another Adina here, because apparently Adina knows how to work around the rules of this show, so I'm gonna do it anyway, because she's got the plushie sitting next to her. Maybe it's giving off force powers. Maybe she's working her Jedi mind tricks on all of us. It's a plushie! So my favorite line would one of my favorites probably be "Do or do not, there is no try." Because it's pretty simple. It's to the point. It's like, don't, you know, beat around the bush. Don't just say you're gonna do something. Just do it. Like, just do it. Don't give anything a try. Just do it, because you have the strength in yourself to do it, or you don't. Like, you either believe in yourself or you're not going to believe in yourself at all. So just do it. You know, it's kind of like Shia LaBeouf's "just do it," you know, or something or other. I'm feeling weird. I don't know. I'm saying weird stuff.
Do it.
I'm surprised you didn't play that clip.
Well, I don't have that clip. I don't have that "do it." I don't have that one either. But what I do have, and this is probably my favorite quote of the moment, is
This is the way.
This is the way. This is the way.
This is the
I mean, you can use that for anything. Anything. Adina can use it at her job.
I have.
She's used it when she's at work every day. JL has used it when she's collaborating with other writers. I mean, you know, what is it? Kale uses it on Cryptid Crunch. No, she doesn't, because that's totally irrelevant to Cryptid Crunch. But, you know, you can use it for literally anything. Like, if you do something for somebody, like, let's say, for example, I do something for a friend, because that's what friends do for each other. They help each other out when someone's down, right? This is the way. That's what you say. That's what you do. So anyway, that's just my 2 cents. Sorry, I'm getting a little too passionate back here. But if you're just joining us, we are celebrating all things Star Wars. Let us know your thoughts about it in the comments or the chat, whether you're watching this live or on the replay. Thank you so much for being here. And don't forget to like and share this with all of your closest friends. Good heavens, I'm getting ahead of myself.
Another good quote would be from A New Hope and Princess Leia. Just Carrie Fisher's way of being sassy. It would be, would someone get this big walking carpet out of my way?
No reward is worth this. I mean, seriously, it's not. It really isn't. By the way, Dawn says my favorite character is definitely Leia. 100% Leia. 100%. And then Dawn says Chewie is a close second. Laugh it up, fuzzball. But you didn't see us alone in the South Passage. She expressed her true feelings for me. And then the The Crude Badger says the best quote overall is from Yoda: "Do or do not, there is no try." It's kind of become my life's motto.
There's a quote from Star Wars I use at my work all the time when I'm training a new employee, but it's one that people forget. This one goes there, that one goes there. Because I work at a grocery store, so it's, no, this product goes there, that product goes there.
Stocking the shelves, are we?
Yeah, we are. Yeah.
And if any characters embody what marriage life is like, you know, C-3PO and R2-D2 is it. Like, the bickering couple throughout the whole series is hilarious.
That's a fair point. That's a fair point. Well, this wonderful wheel of favorites is going to keep spinning, because I want to ask, because I know some of our panelists may or may not have to leave pretty soon. So with that being said, Kale, favorite Star Wars movie and TV series, Kale?
Oh, man. Favorite
Choose
movie?
wisely. No, I'm kidding. There's no right or wrong answer. I think we just stumped our panelist.
It's so hard to choose. Favorite series, definitely Mandalorian, because this is the way. I love Mando.
Amen to that.
Favorite movie, I would have to say Episode 3. Revenge of the Sith. Like you said, if there was ever a moment that you were going to see the representation of the dark side it was Darth Maul, and that kind of just like stood with me going forward. And yeah, I like that one.
Do you mean episode 1, The Phantom Menace with Darth Maul? Because you said episode 3. Episode 3 is Revenge of the Sith.
Revenge of the Sith? Am I messed up right now?
Yeah, because Darth Maul is in episode 1, The Phantom Menace.
I'm definitely forgetting. It's been so long since I've rewatched the entire thing, but yeah, episode 1.
Okay, I was going to say you had one simple assignment, which is to watch all Star Wars all day, but I digress.
Me first.
I know. I'm sorry, but you know, hey, you're the newest member of a certain team that shall not be named back at the cereal box. So we're just trying to give you some Republic credits. Republic credits are no good out here. We need something more real. So for Adina to make this more real. Favorite movie and TV series, Adina? Any thoughts?
For the movie, shocker, A New Hope, episode 4. Really,
Yeah.
it's the out of all the movies, it's the one that I could stop everything and rewatch over and over again. So that makes up my favorite movie. For series, and you have to know, I haven't really seen the animated series, any of the animated shows yet. Especially, I feel bad that I kind of missed Clone Wars, but it came out like during a time when I wasn't watching a lot. I was very busy, not watching a lot of TV. So, but I've watched all the recent ones, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Mandalorian, Boba Fett, Andor. And I think out of those 4, I like them all a lot, but Andor takes it for me right now. I mean, I'm dying for the next season of Andor. With Mandalorian and Obi-Wan kind of tied for a close second. That's fair. I'm allowed to do that.
She keeps cheating. Anyway, we'll let it keep sliding, but I digress. JL, favorite movie and TV series featuring the word Star Wars?
Favorite movie is definitely Force Awakens. Like I said earlier, that having a female character be like, Leia's amazing, and Leia definitely like holds her own, but she still started off the story with being the princess who had to be rescued. And so seeing her turn into a general and then having another female character kind of take center stage, like I said, like walking out of that theater with my husband, he was like, "Oh, that was great." And I was like, "That was amazing." And I was like, that feeling that you had when you first watched Star Wars as a kid, like I finally got that feeling. So Force Awakens is definitely my favorite of the movies. For some reason, Rebels has just like, I just latched onto that show and I love everything about it. But I'm really, really looking forward to Ahsoka overtaking that because, again, you guys you're gonna think that I'm just a crazy feminist, but I'm really looking forward to a Star Wars show that has 3 female main characters, and the fact that they're all characters that I already know and love, I'm just super excited about it.
Yeah, some people are calling the Ahsoka series Rebels Season 5 because everyone's coming back. Except Kanan. Kanan can't make it. He kind of got fried in the last one, but...
I know. I miss Daddy Kanan, but he's okay.
Yeah, he's one with the... I'm one with the Force is with me. I'm one with the Force is with me. So with that being said, Willow, favorite movie and TV series, and you're muted and you got a fur baby in your lap, whatever that is.
I love these porgs.
No, porgs deserve to be roasted and toasted. That's what I think. But anyway, go ahead.
That was my dinner tonight.
Woo, you had roasted porgs, and Adina's like, yay!
All right, so my favorite movie, Rogue One.
That's a good one.
Very well done. Very well done. And of course, I cried.
Yeah, cried pretty hard at the end there.
What really sucks is they were all really great characters, and yeah. I don't want to give any spoilers away, but
there's a scene on the beach.
All really well done, and I just really wish that we could have gotten more from those characters.
Well, you do sort of kind of get some of them from it. There's the Star Wars animated adventures. Was it like Star Wars? I can't remember. What was the name of it? But Jyn Erso and some other stuff. There's a kids-related series that's on YouTube at Star Wars Kids YouTube channel. # not a sponsor by any stretch of the imagination. But look it up. There's an episode featuring Jyn Erso. There's an episode featuring some of the other, Rogue One characters, something like that. Look it up. You'll thank us later. But anyway, I digress.
I really love the sassy droid.
Oh, you mean K2SO?
Yeah.
Doesn't sound so bad to me. How did you know that wasn't me? I didn't. It's, Anyway, I'm sorry. Rogue One is great stuff. But Austin, favorite Star Wars movie or TV series? What do you got, Austin?
I'll start with the TV series because I'm way behind on Star Wars television shows because I'm just more of a movie guy. I watch movies all the time, and I have to carve out a lot of time for TV shows, and I just don't have that much time for TV. But I have seen Mandalorian, and especially the first 2 seasons are great. I'm a big fan of Clint Eastwood westerns, so it's got like a western vibe to it. Just the kind of man with no name wandering into a town, so helping solve the problems. A little bit of Mad Max sprinkled in there, and it just feels more like kind of old school Star Wars with a lot of practical stuff. So I dig that. But my favorite movie has and always will be Empire Strikes Back. It has just certain elements that are still my favorite. The Hoth battle is my favorite battle ever in Star Wars. You get the expansion of the soundtrack with the Imperial March. That's iconic and great. The Han and Leia stuff is some of my favorite relationship stuff ever in a movie. Just their back and forth. And you get Lando, who's just awesome. And I love Billy D. Williams because I'm a Batman 89 guy too. So I just love Billy D. Yoda, the Yoda Luke mentor student stuff is just, I think, some of the best mentor student stuff ever put into a movie this side of Daniel San and Mr. Miyagi in the first Karate Kid, which they it's good, but it ain't Yoda and Luke. The lightsaber fight with Luke and Vader at the end just has so much revelation and emotion and so much going on just in the back and forth of their dialogue, and the fact that it ends on a damn cliffhanger. And I love movies that end kind of on a down note and have a continuation, but movies where the heroes are on the run, the bad guys kind of win. It's why I like Infinity War more than Endgame. And I just, I'm always going to be an Empire guy just through and through. So I just love that movie to pieces.
The Force is with you, young Skywalker, but you are not a Jedi
yet.
That is such a strong line, I got to tell you. But Tim, favorite Star Wars movie or TV series that's not Empire Strikes Back?
It's going to be very controversial, but we'll start with series. I love the history going back in time to Enterprise, back before.
Oh God! Look, if you want to talk about the Trek stuff, just get on a show with Adina someday, all right?
Oh God, I always got to
because Adina can talk our ears off about Star Trek.
I always loved Conan O'Brien growing up, and whenever he sent Triumph to go see episode 1 or episode 2 in theaters because they were playing episode 1 in the background, and he brings Spock in to just piss off all the Star Trek fans. The Star Wars fans, to piss them off. I love that sketch, but I'll probably start with the movies first because, like Austin, I have so many TV shows I watch, so many. I mean, that's why I did TV trivia for a while. The movies I would have to say for me is A New Hope, because I just love just the beginning story of Luke going out into this unknown galaxy on this unknown adventure. I love the scenes of the setting twin suns. I know we see that in memes and posters, what have you, but I love that scene with the musical score in the background. I've always loved that clip. And just at the end of it, yes, the rebels win, but it's not the end of this war. Yeah, you blow up one Death Star, one station. This is a galactic empire. They're like, we use that for toilet paper. Don't worry, we got more. But I mean, really think about it. I mean, they have the resources to build one Death Star. You don't think they have like 25 million? Come on. But that would be for the movie. For the TV shows, I guess probably. I do love The Mandalorian in the first few seasons of that man with no name aspect of just going from planet to planet, helping out, doing the missions of just our faceless hero. But I probably would say Clone Wars because I did have to watch that for one of Nico's trivia matches, and I do like the early Clone Wars adventures of the stories in between episodes 2 and 3. You get to see the story of the war of the Clone Wars with how many people's involved. I mean, this is a galaxy war, and you get to see so many aspects of that with so many different alien races, this different Jedi group, that different Jedi group. It wasn't just Obi-Wan and Anakin. You had Ahsoka. You had so many other Jedi stories in that, and especially the stories with the clone troopers themselves, like Rex and all of them. So I'd probably say that one more, just for that mixture of story for the show.
That is absolutely fair. Totally get it. So for me, Star Wars movie, just because I saw it 6 times in the theater when it came out originally, it blew my mind. The second time I saw it with my brothers, they felt like they were kids again, and just being there in a theater with 200 some people, and we're all enjoying it, we're all experiencing it, and we feel the vibe. We feel the Force flows through you. Like, feeling that vibe is so good. So for me, it's Force Awakens, hands down. 6 times in a theater. I have never gone to the movie theaters that much just to see one movie, ever. The previous record holder was a little DC Cinematic Universe film called Man of Steel with my boy Henry Cavill. What's up, Henry? Good to see you. But when Force Awakens came out and blew everyone's mind, it says, hey, Star Wars is back. There's actually more stories to tell. We can do this now. It was fantastic. And I love every single minute of it. I have the poster framed, 13 by 19. I know that's not as big as some of the other posters out there, but I digress. So, movie is Force Awakens. So, JL, you and I are kind of on the same wavelength. Force Awakens is freaking awesome. I don't care what anyone says. And don't give me, it's a rehash of A New Hope. Who cares? Who the frack cares? It's a great movie with new characters, new directions of the story. Get with it, boys and girls. I'm just saying. TV show, it's got to be Mando. Has to be. It has to be. Why? Because it's a Western that's in space. It's a Western in space. And the guy who carries the gun and the Beskar armor with a cape, which, by the way, rule number 1 is you never tug on Superman's cape and you never tug on Mando's either. Those are some killer-looking threads, Mando. I'm just going to say it. You got some killer-looking threads. So Mando's great because they're not tied to anything, really. They can just go wherever they want within the story parameters, and they can introduce new characters. They can introduce new elements to the story whenever they want. And Dave Filoni and the other guy, what's his name? Jon Favreau, you're so money, you just don't even know it. You're like a big bear, man. So that's what I got to say about that. So we are celebrating all the greatness that is Star Wars. Let us know your favorite things about it in the comments. Don't forget to like and share this with all of your closest friends. If this is your first time here with us, welcome. And don't forget to click the subscribe button and ring that bell. Ding, ding, ding. No, not the Mos Eisley Cantina, not in Watto's shop. Don't ring the bell in Watto's shop. Don't ever do it. You're sponsoring him in the race. How can you do this? Anyway, get away from here. Anyway, so with that being said, I want to throw this question out to the panel. We'll stop spinning the wheel of what's your favorite, because I know Adina's tired of it. She just wants to keep hugging the plushie. It's fine. Keep doing it. He's smiling for us, too. Look at that cute little thing. Anyway, so, Kale, if you were in a Star Wars movie or TV series, what kind of character would you want to be?
Oh, man. You mean like good or evil?
Could be anything. Do it. Do it. Do it, Kale. Do it.
Oh, man. If I could be like Emperor Palpatine and have like lightning powers, that would be badass. That would be my force power. But no, I would probably be a Jedi. I want to be good. I have a good heart.
Goodness gracious. Well, that's just wonderful. And how about you, Adina? What kind of character would you want to portray in the Star Wars galaxy far, far away?
So this is gonna basically veer from every other thing that I was like leading towards, but I think I want, Han Solo's ship. I want the Millennium Falcon. I want to fly it and go lug cargo around and get paid for it. live a simple life as a
I mean, it's the ship that made the Kessel Run rest in 12 parsecs. I've outrun Imperial starships, not the local ball cruisers, mind you. I'm talking about the big Corellian ships now. She's fast enough for the old man. Yeah. What's the cargo? Never mind. I can go into that movie all day long, as Adina can attest to, because she watches it 80 times a day when she's at work. So, Chris. Willow, all the way up in Canada.
Yes,
what kind of character would you want to portray in the Star Wars galaxy?
I would love to explore more of Princess Leia's Boushh Mandalorian.
So what are you saying exactly? You want to be a Mandalorian type character?
Yeah, I think it would be fun. Yeah.
Okay.
Princess Leia probably needs more cash. You know.
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking too much about this here. Maybe I'm thinking too much outside the box. But I digress. JL, save us here. What kind of character would you want to portray in the Star Wars galaxy far, far away?
I would probably also want to be a Jedi, but I don't want to be a Jedi like circa Republic, because I don't want to like work for the man and be sent out on like basically warmongering missions for some government oversight. So I would definitely want to be a post-Empire Jedi who's just kind of like, oh, I'm here and I have these magic powers, and maybe I picked out the lightsaber at a thrift shop or something, and I'm just kind of like stumbling through the universe on my own.
Good Lord. Boy, we're getting into some deep stuff here. This is creeping me out. No, it's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. We're all fine here. No, thank you. How are you? But I do want to take a moment and acknowledge some of our panelists have to jump on the Millennium Falcons and go into hyperspeed and go to a distant place and, have more adventures in their own respective galaxies far, far away. So, Adina, where can the person watching or listening to this follow you on social media and everything that you have coming up?
Everywhere. So the big thing is the Big Sci-Fi Podcast, where we talk about a lot of Star Trek. We're very, very Star Trek heavy there, but we talk about Star Wars and everything else in science fiction. So the Big Sci-Fi Podcast, wherever you get your podcasts, get it there. I'm on Twitter at Adina, just my first name. I've been on Twitter that long. It's just my first name. But also look up Crazy Foolish Robots on Amazon. I'm a science fiction author, and Crazy Foolish Robots is the first in the Robot Galaxy series, and book 4 comes out at the end of May. I need to know. That is so, it's so fortuitous. I have the proof right here. This is my little proof copy of book 4. It's just sitting. It came today. The first proof came a few days ago. This is the second proof. I had to fix a few things.
And it came on May the 4th be with you. That's very fortuitous. It did. That's very fortuitous. Well, thank you so much, Adina, for being with us. We wish you the best. Thanks for having me. And the Force will be with you always. Take it easy, Adina.
This is the way.
This is the way. See, I'll do the Spock thing. Never mind. Get out of here. I digress. Take it easy, Adina. Such an awesome person. She really is, even though she can't help herself but hold that plushie in her arms. Anyway, Kale. Where can the person watching or listening to this follow you on social media and everything you have coming up, which I believe starts with Cryptid and ends with Crunch?
Here, where? Oh, I can't do it. My camera is backwards, but it's Creepy Kale. It's right there on Instagram. And yeah, I do Cryptid Crunch with Willow on Sundays. And I will be at Indie Comic Con all this weekend, starting tomorrow, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And you have to hold on to those Grogus because they are easy to escape. I saved one last year at Comic Con. I'm expecting a lot to escape this year, so it's going to be a busy weekend. I'll see you all there.
Yay! Fantastic.
Join us Sunday night for Cryptid Crunch when we're going to be talking about Greek mythology.
Hades, Persephone, all the goodies.
Excellent, Smithers. Great stuff there, Kale. Thank you so much for being with us, and we appreciate you. You're always welcome to come back and talk Star Wars or any other of your crazy weirdo adventure fandoms. Just like what the Goonies say in that little indie film, The Goonies. Mikey, I'm not going on any more of your crazy creepy Kale adventures. Anyway, Kale, take it easy. May the Force be with you always, and this is the way. Have a good one, Kale.
See you Sunday.
Such an incredible person. Man, that's good stuff. So let's see here. I'm trying to think. Have we done anything else that's crazy yet? I'm trying to think. We've done favorites here, favorites there. We've done what would you do if you were... Oh, yeah, I forgot to
finish up the characters things.
Yeah, we still got the character thing. So, Tim, if you were a Star Wars character, what would you be?
Let me read you a quote here, and you can probably figure it out.
All right. Which Star Trek character are you?
Okay. Hey.
No, I am not. I'm not going Trek on this one. This is purely Star Wars from the lore. Because who wouldn't want to be a Jedi? Who wouldn't want to be a Sith? Who wouldn't want to be a bounty hunter? But this is the one, through my knowledge of the Star Wars universe, I would love. Is flowing through, there is balance. There is no dark, there is no light. There is only the Force. I do what I must to keep the balance. I embrace the light, yet that does not bind me. I embrace the dark, yet that does not consume me. The balance is what keeps me together. There is no good without evil, but evil must not be allowed to flourish. There is passion, yet peace. There is strength, yet serenity. Power, yet harmony. I am a guardian of the Force. I am a Grey Jedi. I think with Grey Jedis, that is just one of the perfect balances of the Force, from either you can't embrace your passions, your darkness, you can't embrace the power, it can corrupt, but you can't just embrace the harmony without the chaos. You need both of those to be truly balanced. And that's why, Grey Jedis have always just been that lore to me, like, oh, that mixture of both, There isn't just one way or the other. There isn't just a right way or a wrong way. There's many different ways, and a Grey Jedi really can balance those two very well.
Right on, man. Good stuff. I think I got it, but just in case, tell me that whole thing again. I wasn't listening. Just kidding. Austin, what kind of character would you want to be in the Star Wars galaxy?
Again, I'm a Clint Eastwood Western guy, so it would have to either be something like a Cobb Vanth on Mando, Timothy Oliphant, kind of a sheriff of some town or something, keeping the order, or bounty hunter, Boba Fett style, because my favorite Western is For a Few Dollars More, and Clint Eastwood and Lee Van Cleef, Manco and Colonel Mortimer are both bounty hunters in there. And if you're good at it, you can make a hell of a living in the universe. So, and sure, it's dangerous, but if you're a badass, you can carve out quite a living. So, and you don't involve yourself in all this Empire rebel stuff. It's whoever pays the most money. So you stay neutral.
It's funny you mentioned that, because there's a T-shirt that I put in. This is a behind the scenes thing, real quick, because I do want to stay on topic. There's a shirt that says the good, the bad, and the ugly, and it's Mando as the good, Boba Fett as the bad, and Cobb Vanth as the ugly.
Yeah.
And if I were you, I would strongly recommend that you buy that shirt.
Yeah, I probably will now.
Honestly, the link is in the private chat. It's right over here in the studio.
It's also why I love Sicario. Benicio del Toro's character is the shady guy who is whoever's paying him the most. He doesn't work for the cartel. He doesn't work for the government. Who's paying the most money? I go after them. It's the moral gray area. I love that stuff. So yeah.
It's when the chimes in, pick up your gun. It's a good movie. Clint Eastwood, way to go, guy. For me, if I'm going to be a Star Wars character, I mean, originally I would have told you Jedi, but since I've watched so much of Mando, and Mando is just so freaking cool, I want to be a bounty hunter. Honestly, I mean, how cool would that be? You're getting paid mad money to go out and take care of business, also known as TCB. Taking care of business, and you get paid for it, and you get to go to different planets, different environments. You get to meet different kinds of characters. You get to meet up with other bounty hunters in the cantinas, right? Because they have their own cantinas. You get to hang out with the criminal underworld. Now, granted, I don't believe being in the criminal underworld is the best thing for my health, but at the same time, I could do some spying. Maybe I can play both sides. I can unleash my dark side and then play for the good guys. I can call up Captain what's his name, the guy in Mandalorian. What's his name? Captain Sahara, whatever his name is. Like that guy, I can go up to him and say, hey, I got some information for you, but it's going to cost you. Yeah, how much money you got on you? How much you want, Biff? So I mean, it's great. It's wonderful. I'd be a bounty hunter. Why the heck not? It works. That's just that's just my 2 cents. I have been handed a note here, and I do want to take a moment to acknowledge this. I do want to say RIP to all the actors and actresses from the Star Wars galaxy, but also the late, great Carrie Fisher did receive her star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame right here today on May the 4th. We're with you, so congratulations to Carrie Fisher and her family, her loved ones, Billy Lord, and everyone else who was there for that ceremony. I believe there's footage of it circling around the interwebs, which you can find on YouTube after you're done watching this show. So congratulations, Carrie Fisher. Our hats off to you. R.I.P. It's crazy. When I found out that news when Rogue One came out, that was sad. That was sad. But, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen Rogue One, she does show up at the tail end of the movie, which ties everything together. Everything. By the way, that's one of the best endings I've seen in a movie, is Rogue One. Hands down. Anyone else feel that way?
And then you immediately had to go home and put on episode 4. immediately.
Yep.
That's what I did as soon as I got home from the thing. I'm like, well, damn it, that's the opening of New Hope. Shit, I got to put it on right now. Well, yeah, I got to see how this thing ends.
Even though we've seen it a dozen times, maybe more than that, more like 1,000,000 times. But hey, things happen, right? So here goes nothing. My question for the round table. I want to go around the horn here. Ladies first, because I'm a gentleman. Willow, what are some of the things you hope to see in Star Wars moving forward? And you're muted, by the way.
Yeah, I just putting my thoughts together. Sorry. Yeah, I don't know.
If you need me to play the Jeopardy theme, we can go to another call if you want.
No, what I would love to see going forward, more. I don't know. I guess it would be kind of neat to see, the tale of Princess Leia going like from her adoption to what led to her arrest in New Hope. We're already going through the prequels. Why not have that as a storyline?
Okay. I can see where you're going. I can see where you're coming from with that. Yeah.
And then going forward with her career as a senator. And
well, hypothetically, I don't think they're going to do it. If they are, I'm not aware of it. But the young actress who played a very young Leia in the Obi-Wan Kenobi series, I wouldn't mind seeing her progression as Leia, because she did such a good job in a series that I didn't really ask for and I didn't really need, but we got it anyway. And the best thing about that series was her.
Yep. Yeah.
I mean, she stole the show. I mean, it's Ewan McGregor's show, but she comes in. We didn't expect to see her at all, but she shows up. And I'm like, wait a minute. You're just a little girl. Like, what is this? And then we were just in shock and awe of her. But she's a wonderful young actress, and clearly she's got a bright future ahead of her if they should decide to keep her in the Star Wars galaxy and have her, grow up as she's starting to become more and more like Leia of Carrie Fisher's, iteration. But fair point. JL, what do you hope to see from the Star Wars galaxy moving forward?
I'm really excited for Ahsoka, but I'm also really, really looking forward to season 2 of Andor. I think Andor was absolutely amazing, and I just love the interplay of, everything that I love about Star Wars is like all the science fantasy type stuff, but I also just really like the just real world, like this is what life is like in such a sprawling galaxy that is slowly being, taken over by fascism, and just the kind of the darkness that it touched upon was sometimes a little close to home, but I really enjoyed their take on it, and so I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do next, especially because there's just so many amazing actors in it.
Rock on. That good stuff. Would very much like to see that. Austin, what do you hope to see from Star Wars moving forward that's not already Ahsoka?
So I'm kind of ready for Star Wars in general to move away from this time period they're in right now. We'll call it the Skywalker saga. I'm ready for them to jump into some like Old Republic type stuff, Knights of the Old Republic. Let's get a time period literally 1,000 years before this. Let's get a whole new set of characters, a whole new setting, a whole new lore. I'm still watching Star Wars. I'm still interested in it, but I kind of, in my opinion, think the Skywalker saga has kind of been wrung out for all you could wring out of it, to where we're stretching to even get references and characters to other prequel things or Clone War things or whatever, where it's kind of being stretched thin. I would like to see us move into a completely new time period that's never really been explored on screen. So,
Fair enough. What about you, Tim? What do you hope to see from Star Wars moving forward?
Probably more of the greatness we had in November 17th, 1978 from TV network CBS that brought us something that we never thought we needed as Star Wars fans. And that was, of course, we had to see the life of Chewbacca and his family that only growled. No, we never need to see that again. If we ever see that again, I'm walking in front of a bus.
Boy, that's cool.
Yeah, watch the holiday special. You'll be joining me.
I hear you.
But I kind of agree with Austin. Really, is we've told the story of the Skywalkers. We've really just stuck around the same eras. Really, nothing far out into the future where you could just start something new and just like 1,000 years in the future and just go from there, or go back and see old stuff. Like I do think seeing like the Knights of the Old Republic, or seeing maybe the story of the first Jedi, and that rift that caused the light and dark side, I think that would probably be very interesting to see. To move away from what we already have, because we're just rehashing, adding, just messing with things we already have. I think it's time for something new to keep people enthralled, maybe have new fans come into it. And there's a lot of ways you can go to. You can go far into the past to see many different points in the past, or you could go far into the future, away from it all, and just go with something new and fresh. That's what I would look forward to, instead of just continuing on with this or that, or adding to this or adding to that. It's like, I think it's time to do something new, to expand it out, instead of just filling more bits and pieces here and there to interconnect everything and to not really have too much mystery left. So if go in a whole different new, that would probably be a best way to do it.
It's the same problem I have with the Saw series, that the new Saw movie is going to take place between Saw 2 and 3. You keep going back to the past. Let's move on. Let's move to the damn future. Let's move on to something new characters.
Yeah, but you have to move on in a way that is different. Does anyone remember this? There was a short-lived cartoon called Resistance, which was what basically Rebels, circa the third trilogy.
Oh yeah. I remember now. Yeah. Is that on YouTube? Or is that on Disney Plus? Is it on both?
It originally aired on Nickelodeon, because that's where we DVR'd it from. It's might be on Disney Plus at this point. I don't even know.
Probably on Disney Plus.
I think it is on Disney Plus, because I think whenever they
did
started, like, their different wings, like their Marvel, their Star Wars wing, they combined everything. Because I think even the Battle of, remember the Ewoks Battle for Endor? I think even that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think they combined it all on there.
Yeah, I believe it is. If any of us here on the panel are wrong about that, please let us know in the comments. And don't forget to like and share this with all of your closest friends. We're celebrating all things Star Wars, so let us know. I'll be more than happy to hear from you. If this is your first time here, welcome, and thank you for being with us. With that being said, we've talked about Star Wars' past. We've talked about some of the things that are going on in Star Wars' present. Now we're talking about our hopes for the future. For me, now that I'm starting to do a dive into the books, I would love to see an adaptation of Master and Apprentice, which tells the relationship between Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan, because Liam Neeson was only one movie. That's all we got. And Liam Neeson's one of the greatest actors of all time. And he played Qui-Gon Jinn very well, I thought.
Weren't they in talks of doing a Qui-Gon series?
Long ago?
I think they were in talks of doing the Qui-Gon series, and then it just turned into Kenobi.
Yeah, it just turned into Kenobi, like it was in development heck or something, and then it turned into something else. You have something here, Tim?
Yeah, it is on JL. It is on Disney Plus there with their...
That's a lot of light.
Yeah.
Oh, it is?
Okay. Yeah. They have it under their series and specials, so that's on there along with everything else.
Oh, great. So if you're looking for it, now we know where to look.
My favorite is, I can't remember which one is the one with Wilford Brimley, but the whole thing is him being annoyed by the Ewoks and just being like, "God damn it, get out of my house! What's up, damn it? Oh God!"
I think that's the battle.
What's going on here? And quit messing
I think
with
that's the
stuff.
battle for Endor.
Oh God! The whole movie is him just being an old curmudgeon and dealing with these teddy bears invading.
He was the heart and soul of that movie.
Oh, it's great.
Well, not only that, I mean, I can't speak too much because I haven't seen that particular movie. But what I did see recently that co-starred Wilford Brimley was Hard Target with Jean-Claude Van Damme. So, and he was funny in that. He's shooting a bow and arrow and he's making moonshine in his backyard because it's in the bayou of Louisiana. something like that. So with that being said, as far as Star Wars' future, I mean, an adaptation of Master and Apprentice by Claudia Gray would be fantastic. Because like I said, I think the relationship between Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan should get explored more about how they came to be in this relationship. How did Obi-Wan, I mean, you can kind of put it together in your own mind, but at the same time, like, what was it like in the early beginnings of that relationship? What was it like for Obi-Wan to be under his tutelage? Did he have fun with it? Did he not enjoy it? Did he question his motives all the time? Like, what? I mean, granted, you find out about that stuff in the book, but at the same time, like, it would be good to see something that's not direct. Even though Obi-Wan Kenobi is related to the Skywalker saga, it still takes place years before that, or at least some years before that. So I would like to see that. I would like to see the criminal underworld explored a little bit more with the bounty hunters and the criminal guild, and the other bounty hunters are on distant planets, and the mid rim, the outer rim, all that stuff. I want to explore that more because we've gotten hints of it in Book of Boba Fett. We got hints of it in Mando. But give me more. It's like the song says, ma, 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 ma. Like, give me more.
Ryan, I have a book recommendation for you.
Go ahead.
Since you like Claudia Gray, and since Force Awakens is also your favorite, the book that you need to check out is Lost Stars by Claudia Gray.
I bought it on Amazon. It is going to be delivered to my place tomorrow, JL Gribble, so it is coming.
That book is amazing.
It's funny you mentioned that because there's this website called Utini.com, which it's its own brand of Star Wars experts. They put together a reading list of books everyone should read, and the first one that they list is the one that JL just mentioned, which is Lost Stars by the great Claudia Gray. See? Fun facts.
Good to know.
And if you do want like future Star Wars stuff, the other Claudia Gray book that I really love, Bloodlines, which
I have that over here on my shelf. Bloodline, yeah.
Bloodlines, which covers a lot of older Leia's experience
as a general.
As a general and as a politician in that era.
I have that on my bookshelf. I mean, honestly, if you want to compare notes after the show, you and I can compare notes because my bookshelf is like stacked now with all these different Star Wars novels, which we can talk a little bit more about later. But with that being said, Tim Solo, I've been told by our producers you got to go into your Millennium Falcon, go to Lightspeed. So I'll tell you what, Tim Solo, the stage is yours. Where can the person watching or listening to this follow you on social media and everything that you have coming up, Tim?
I have a little channel called TM Smith Reactions. You can see there. It's on YouTube. I have different things from trivia starts I did with TV Trivia to different reactions of Dragon Ball Z with Team 4-Star, a lot of their products. Maybe I'll eventually get around to finishing some once I get some time. But it was great. Star Wars is always fun to talk about. And I think one of my favorite quotes, use the Schwartz. But it's been great. It's nice hanging out with y'all. But yes, I must depart as the Conan sketch would end. I must depart into the realm back of reality to live long and prosper. Trust me, watch that. It's funny as hell.
I never even heard of this. I'm going to have to look this up later.
It's on YouTube.
Is it on YouTube?
Okay. Conan O'Brien Triumph Star Wars, and it should come up.
Triumph Star. Okay. I'm going to have to look this up in the backstage area of the studio. But Tim, thank you so much for being here. We wish you the best of luck with everything you got coming up. And also, you're more than welcome to come back and talk Star Wars, or maybe even that other little thing called Star Trek. I don't know. You can if you want. I mean, I just prefer the wars to the Trek, but I am a fan of both. It's just I prefer the wars to the Trek. That's just because I know more about it. But Tim, thank you for being here, and the Force will indeed be with you, kind sir, always. Have a good one, Tim.
See you later, guys.
Have a good night.
Such a nice man. Well, I tell you what, guys, we've talked about Star Wars in terms of its past, in terms of its present, in terms of its future. This has been a lot of fun, but real quick, rapid fire question, final question. Well, actually, it's a two-parter, but I'll let it, however you want to answer it, you may. JL Gribble, favorite thing to collect that's Star Wars related, and any final thoughts?
So I'm a huge Lego fan, and I like ships and buildings, and therefore I have a lot of Star Wars ships, and I especially like to collect the really expensive ones that come out every May 4th, and since I'm a Lego VIP, because I've given them a lot of money, this year's special edition is an X-Wing, and so I already have that purchased. The only one that I don't have, literally just because I don't have room for it, that is on my dream list is the giant Millennium Falcon. But yeah, I have a lot of Star Wars Legos. And then final thoughts. This is like one of those. I love Star Wars because it's one of those nerd things, but it's also such a pop culture touchstone that it's something that even if someone doesn't identify as a nerd, they've probably seen Star Wars or know enough about it that it's one of those just things that just can bring people together, and I love it.
Fabulous. Thank you for sharing that with us. Willow Skylar, what is something that you like to collect that has Star Wars written all over it? And also, final thoughts for Star Wars Day.
All right. Well, clearly stuffed animals. You know what? I enjoy the Legos. Like my husband and I will go to the Lego store periodically and like drool over the many Star Wars ships that are out. We have the Millennium Falcon that we have yet to build, the newest one, he was even saying that he wants to spend money on whatever new item they brought out. So we have to put aside $300 for that.
It was $250, but yeah.
I'm in Canada, so it's going to be a little bit more.
I was going to say different currency, ladies.
Whatever Imperial credits goes for nowadays.
I remember when they released that giant Millennium Falcon, and I was at a Lego store. I was actually at the Lego store down at downtown Disney or Disney Springs or whatever it's called now. And I'm standing there looking at it in the case because I was down there for work, and this guy is like standing there next to me, and we're just staring at it. And I'm like, technically I could afford it. And he's like, yeah, technically I could too. And we just sat there, and then we were like, but we're adults.
Yep. I said that same thing to Joe many, many times while being in the Lego store. It's like, we'll be staring at something, and it's like, well, I mean, I did just get paid.
So apparently the $800 one is my limit, but the spouse is a very bad influence when it comes to buying the smaller sets. So
I call it enabling, like, because I'm a cosplayer, so I have a whole room full of costumes that I have yet to clean up, but my husband wants the big room for his train room now. He got into the model train hobby. So yeah, we have to figure out how to downsize my stuff so that he can
need a bigger
upsize his fun time.
You need a bigger house, seriously.
You know what needs to happen? I need to win the lottery so that I can build onto my house.
Or you could build onto your house up there in Canada in the cabin in the woods. But that's neither here nor there. How about you, Austin? What is something that you enjoy collecting that has Star Wars plastered all over it? And final thoughts as we wrap up Star Wars Day 2023.
Yeah, I don't collect like toys or posters or Legos or anything like that, but I'm a t-shirt guy. Like my whole closet is full of just movie t-shirts and pop culture nerdy t-shirts. Like I have t-shirts for every franchise or favorite movie of mine, pretty much, from Aliens to Tremors to Godzilla to Predator. Oh, Tremors t-shirt. I have 3 Tremors t-shirts.
Are you serious?
It's my second favorite movie of all time. Yeah.
Dude, you're gonna have to show me these shirts later.
Oh yeah, I've got one that looks like the Jaws poster, but it's graboids. I have it.
Awesome.
Things like that. So stuff
and
like
that's
that.
That's how we can connect it to Kevin Bacon.
Right. Yeah, exactly. That's how
degrees of Kevin Bacon, by the way.
Yes. But I have like this one. I have a Revenge of the Jedi, like the original poster for Return of the Jedi. That. One of those shirts. I have like a Han Shot First, shirt. Things like that. Yeah. Just So I like. Especially nowadays, you can find a t-shirt for damn near everything. So anything you could put your mind to, you could find. And Star Wars in general, again, it's been there's very few franchises or kind of nerdy things that have been a part of my life for literally as long as I can remember. It's like that. It's Indiana Jones. It's Back to the Future. It's well, for one, Star Trek. It's Next Generation. I grew up with a neighbor of mine. We watched Next Generation all the time. So like there's very few things that I've connected to since I was 5, 6, 7 years old. Power Rangers as well, things like that. But ones that have stuck with me for as long as they have, and no matter how many times the Star Wars going forward has its ups, has its downs, whether I like something, don't like something, I can always come back to the original trilogy or even the prequels to a degree, like because my first theatrical thing other than seeing the special editions was Phantom Menace. So but like you can always come back and kind of like a warm blanket, I can watch the original trilogy and just get warped right back to my childhood. Like I said, playing with those Legos, like making X-Wings, doing whatever, watching it with my friends. And you can always have that comfort. And I don't have kids personally, and I'm not going to, but my sister has a 1.5-year-old now, and she has charged me with when she gets old enough with her movie watching research and references, because I have over 2,000 movies right next to me. So like I am a movie guy. So when it's the right time, I hopefully will introduce her to the Star Wars universe, and hopefully she digs it and kind of pass that on to the next generation. So as many people have done. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Make it so. Anyway, that's not a quote from Star Wars. That's Star Trek. But anyway, so for me, I got to tell you, this has been a blast. It's been a great time with each and every single one of our panelists. We hope it's been a great time for you who's watching or listening to this. Something that I enjoy collecting from Star Wars is fan art. There's some great artists out there. There's some great independent artists who show their love and appreciation for different fandoms, because there's room for everything. But this one individual, his name is Rob Taylor. He goes by Herofied Art. That's HEROFIED, herofiedart.com, if I remember correctly. That's his website. I got some posters and metal bookmarks here. This metal bookmark is Obi-Wan Kenobi's lightsaber. Look how great that is, okay? This is a metal freaking bookmark. This is art. And gentlemen, let's run our minds. Lawrence, so it's great. It's wonderful.
Nice to be in round one from Herofied.
Hey, look at that. Look at that. Oh, that is amazing. How did you see this individual at a convention? Real quick though, this is behind the scenes. Have you met him at a convention, or did you pick it up on the interwebs?
I bought a whole bunch of them from his booth at Salt Lake Comic Con FanX last fall. So that's yeah. Right. He does go to a couple of the Fan Expos. I believe he's going to be in Fan Expo Philadelphia, which is June 2nd through the 4th of 2023. Fun facts, if anyone's interested in saying hi to Rob Taylor of Herofied Art. But yeah.
I wish I read more books, but I subscribe to Matilda's dad philosophy. There's nothing you can get in a book that you can't get from a TV faster.
Oh, wrong, sir. Wrong. You get nothing. You lose. The book is always better than the movie. Good day, sir.
I wish I read more books, but I just don't. I don't have time.
You do, Austin. You have 24 hours in a day like everyone else does. All you got to do is carve out the time.
Sleepy,
you know what Yoda keeps telling you, right? Do or do not. There is no try. Just remember that. But anyway, to rope this thing back into reality, also known as wrapping up, this has been great. I love this. For me, I collect just fan art, Star Wars wise, some other stuff as well. But that's one of the things I enjoy collecting. As far as final thoughts, Star Wars has been a big part of many, many people's lives. It has touched so many different people in so many different ways for 45 plus years, which is amazing. It's amazing. And I do want to take this opportunity to say congratulations to the entire cast and crew of all the Star Wars movies, all the Star Wars shows, the video games, everything. You've brought us so much joy, and you're going to continue to do it as Star Wars continues to move forward in terms of the TV shows. New movies have been announced at Star Wars Celebration a couple weeks ago. Looking forward to seeing what happens with that. But thank you all for being here. We really appreciate it. This has been great. JL Gribble, where can the person watching or listening to this follow you on social media and everything you have coming up?
The big hub where you can find everything is my website, jlgribble.com, which has all the links to all the socials. Though I'm also Hana Edits on Twitter and Instagram. But otherwise the website is where you can find all the information about the books that I write. I am a sci-fi fantasy author and a prolific book reviewer. So that's where you can also find my review blog.
Thank you very much, J.L. Gribble, for being with us. Do greatly appreciate it. Austin, where can the good people of the interwebs follow you on social media and everything you have coming up? What do you got, Austin?
Mostly where you can see below the Movie Hero Network, where I co-host a lot of content over there. We do tournament fights, tier ranker fights, podcast league now, the Lonely Marks Wrestling Podcast, which I'm hopping over to in about 3 minutes, and a podcast about movies. That's what it's called, a podcast about movies. And something Star Wars related in about a week on the 13th. We're going to try to lead into George Lucas's birthday by doing a drink along, watch along of the thing George Lucas, which doesn't exist, as mentioned, the holiday special. So we'll be drinking along on screen with the holiday special. Over on Mega Movie Z is the channel with my good buddy Michael Wolfman Wyndham. We've done several of these. We call it our monthly mistake. Because we just get annihilated and then have to stumble back to bed. So the worst one so far has been the two have been Jack Frost, the 1997 horror movie that we did for Christmas, and Thanksgiving, the Killer Turkey movie, where I swear it's the most drunk I've ever been, and I don't remember half the show. So yeah, Movie Hero Network and that upcoming Star Wars show on Mega Movie Z. I would greatly appreciate it. Give us a chance to earn your subscription over there. Thank you so much.
Wow. That's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs if I ever heard one. But yeah. Austin, kind sir, thank you so much for being with us. We appreciate you. We wish you the best of luck with everything you got going on. And thanks for being with us. Willow Schuyler.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. No, I was just going to say thank you, Ryan, again, for inviting me to these shows. I really appreciate it. Have a great time. Even if I'm not available, I appreciate you reaching out to me. So thank you so much for keeping me in mind. Hopefully I can join you again in the near future. Thanks, Ryan.
Absolutely, my good man. Take care, and the Force will indeed be with you always. Have a good one, Austin. Appreciate it. Such a kind man. Willow Schuyler, all the way up in the part of the galaxy known as the Outer Rim, also known as Canada, where things are 50% more expensive than they are in the United States of America. It's called inflation. Willow, where can the person watching or listening to this follow you on social media and everything that you have going on?
All right. So when I'm not practicing my drama class, getting ready for the Fringe Festival this coming July. You can find me on social media. I'm pretty much everywhere: Facebook, YouTube, TikTok. Somewhere around the interweb is my MySpace account as well.
Dale's wondering, what's MySpace?
Oh no, I had one of those.
So yeah, you guys can see my shows. I'm co-host of the Back of the Cereal Box on Saturday mornings, and Cryptic Crunch coming up on Sunday night. So hopefully you guys find me and follow me.
That is great. That is truly some great stuff. Willow, thank you so much for being with us. Thank you both to J.L. Gribble and Willow, and every single one of our panelists for being with us. J.L. Gribble and Willow Schuyler, if you were able to stick around in the green room after this show, please do. I would like to speak with you. But in the meantime, I do want to say that my name is Ryan of Nerd Culture. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at RyanRPM5. New stuff is coming away very soon. New episodes of And I Quote drop weekly. Right now they're on different days and times because we've had so many guests, so many requests to be on the show. Boy, that's a tongue twister. But it's been a lot of fun, and we appreciate every single one of our guests. We got a lot of great stuff coming your way. I mean, honestly, it has been so much fun doing this. We're this close to hitting 1,000 subscribers. Once we do, we're going to throw a big live stream with returning guests, some surprises, some special giveaways just for you, our loving fans and subscribers, all that stuff. And once again, also, we've had this mystery surrounding the internet. We're going to have a special guest on Thursday night, May the 11th, 1 week from tonight, Thursday, May the 11th, 8 p.m. Eastern time. And I'm going to give you a really good hint about who that individual is in a moment here. So I'm going to share something with you all. This is a hint as to who our guest is going to be on Thursday night, May the 11th, for a very special episode of And I Quote. And take a look.
Welcome, humans.
So who are you?
Like, what are you?
I am Zordon, an interdimensional being caught in a time warp.
How about that? Yes, it is true. Zordon himself, the OG Zordon, David J. Fielding, who was Zordon in the very first season of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, is going to be joining us right here on a very special episode of And I Quote. He is a writer. He's got a great series out that's right now about Lincoln Bright. It's great stuff. He was on Power Rangers. He goes to conventions and meets the fans. This is going to be an honor and a privilege to have David Fielding, the voice and likeness of Zordon from the first season of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. That is celebrating its 30th anniversary this year of 2023. That's right. He is going to be here. We're going to be taking your questions. We're going to be taking your comments. He is very excited to be with us. We are excited to have him here with us. So tune in, grab your morphers, teleport to the command center on Thursday night, May 11th, 8 p.m. Eastern Time for And I Quote with David Fielding. There you go. Mystery has been solved. That is the great surprise guest that we have joining us, and we cannot be any more excited. Thank you for celebrating Star Wars Day 2023 with us. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, smash that notification bell so you get notified of when our new videos go up. In the meantime, stay healthy, stay strong, stay safe, and remember, the Force will be with you always. And this is the way.
There's so many. Has anyone been to them all?
Not likely.
I want to be the first one to see them all.
Truly wonderful the mind of a child is.
Come on. When you find people who need your help, you help them. No matter what.
Good luck. We have hope. Hope that things can get better. And they will.
Stand up together. Because that's when we're strongest. As one.
You won't be going alone. You'll have a friend with you.
No. I'll have a Jedi with me.
You might wanna buckle up, baby.
Rise in the Force.
Take care of this little one.
It'll take care of you. We had each other. That's how we won.
The Force is strong in my family.
Its energy surrounds us and binds us.
What is it they've sent us?
Hope.